Good morning, and thank you for tuning in to DHES TV News. Happy Women's History Month. Happy Friday. This is A Week, Friday, March 19th, 2021. And I am Mr. Thompson with today's announcements. Teachers, read your staff announcements. Pandas, are you prompt and present? Are you ready for the attendance challenge? Please consider participating in the Poetry of the Pandemic contest. Panda Family, it's March. Our theme for the month of March is courage. Join us as we celebrate Women's History Month. Welcome Genesis Umana as she leads us through the Pledge of Allegiance and the District Heights Panda Pledge. And Get Fit as Mr. Jeffries leads us through the Get Fit Minute. DHES Panda Family, it's March. Have you been participating in the March Attendance Challenge? Every day, we will shout out the classes with the highest attendance percentage in each grade. If you want your class to be shouted out on the morning announcements, make sure you are prompt and present every day. And now, shout outs for 3-18-21. Pre-K and kindergarten, Miss Long's and Miss Bakani's class. First grade, Mr. Guzman's class. Second grade, Miss Brown's class. Third grade, Miss Hooks' class. Fourth grade, Miss Wright's class. And fifth grade, Mr. Butler's class. Congratulations to the winners for yesterday's attendance. Keep showing up so we can shout you out. The DHES Reading Committee presents Poetry of the Pandemic. April is National Poetry Month. Requirements for the poem: 100 words or less. Types: haiku, sonnet, limerick, etc. Theme: related to the pandemic. What have you been doing, thinking, feeling, etc. Entries are due by March 22nd, 2021. Please direct any questions to Mrs. Nettles at jenna.nettles@pgcps.org. Once again, jenna.nettles@pgcps.org.
Courageous people who changed the world. William Wilberforce. It is inconceivable that we could be bored in a world with so much wrong to tackle. Little William saw people from Africa being taken as slaves. He knew he had to do something. William told everyone who would listen how bad the slave ships were. In 1807, the leaders of Great Britain finally agreed that the slave trade should end. Harriet Tubman. You have within you the strength, the patience, and the passion to change the world. Little Harriet did not like being told what to do, but because she had dark skin, that's exactly what happened all day long. In 1849, Harriet ran north to freedom. She helped others escape too. People called her secret path the Underground Railroad. Abraham Lincoln. Be sure you put your feet in the right place. Then, stand firm. Little Abe saw many people working as slaves in America. No one could agree whether that was good or bad. Abe became president. In 1863, he signed a paper that said all the slaves would be free. Many people were angry, but Abe knew it was the right thing to do. Susan B. Anthony. Failure is impossible. Little Susan wanted to vote for her leaders like the boys could, but that was illegal for girls. Susan tried to vote once, but she got arrested. Susan spent her whole life telling people that everyone should be treated equally. Finally, word spread that things had to change. In 1920, women in America gained the right to vote. Mahatma Gandhi. You must be the change you wish to see in the world. Little Gandhi liked working things out peacefully. When Great Britain tried to make his people pay for salt, Gandhi didn't fight. Instead, in 1930, he walked 241 miles to the coast to get his own salt. Gandhi's peaceful march helped thousands of people realize that India should be its own country and that you don't have to fight to make a difference. Rosa Parks. I believe we are here on the planet Earth to live, grow up, and do what we can to make this world a better place. Little Rosa noticed that the children with white skin got to ride the bus to school. Children with dark skin had to walk to an older building. In 1955, a city bus driver told Rosa to give her seat to a man with light skin. Nope, Rosa said. She went to jail. Many people stopped riding the bus. After 381 days, the leaders decided to change the rules. Martin Luther King Jr. The time is always right to do what is right. Little Martin went shoe shopping with his dad. The owner said, "We only serve people with dark skin in the back." They left the store instead. One day, Martin gave a speech about how we should treat each other. "I have a dream," he said. He wanted everyone to be judged by their hearts, not by the color of their skin. In 1964, American leaders finally agreed that Martin was right. Malala Yousafzai. One child, one teacher, one book, one pen can change the world. Little Malala loved to learn. But in Pakistan, where she lived, some people said girls shouldn't go to school. Some people tried to stop her. Brave Malala didn't back down. She insisted that every child should go to school. In 2014, when she was 17, Malala became the youngest person to receive the Nobel Peace Prize. These heroes stood up to make a difference in the world. What kind of hero will you be?
She's one of the most influential, widely read writers of the 20th century, and she never lived to see her book in print, or even to see her 16th birthday. We're talking about Anne Frank, a symbol of resilience and lost innocence in the face of the Holocaust. Anne Frank was born in 1929 in Frankfurt, Germany, the youngest daughter of a Jewish family. Hitler and his anti-Semitic Nazi party rose to power in 1933, and so the Frank family moved to the more tolerant city of Amsterdam in the Netherlands. In June of 1940, the Netherlands was invaded by Germany, and conditions for people there, especially Jews, began to deteriorate. The Franks tried to leave for the US, but were blocked from doing so by restrictive immigration policies. Later, on her 13th birthday, Anne received a simple present that would have enormous historical repercussions. It was a blank diary. In it, Anne chronicled her thoughts and feelings, writing about her family and friends and boys, all the kind of things you might expect from a young teenage girl. As Anne began her diary, the situation in occupied Netherlands worsened. Jews were stripped of their rights, forbidden from attending schools, from shopping at most stores, and from taking public transportation. They were subject to a curfew, and they were being sent to work in camps. Faced with these increasingly difficult circumstances, the Franks made a daring decision. They would go into hiding. Their hiding place? A series of unoccupied rooms above the warehouse of the company where Anne's father Otto had worked. In early July of 1942, the Franks fled to this secret annex, while leaving acquaintances to think they'd actually fled the country. The family would attempt to wait out the Nazi occupation. They had help from a small group of friends who brought them food and supplies and kept their secret. But the Franks and others could never leave the annex. They lived in constant fear of discovery and arrest. All this time, for over 2 years, Anne kept her diary. She wrote with a wit and an awareness well beyond her years. Tragically, the Frank family's time in the secret annex came to an abrupt end in August 1944. The Gestapo raided their quarters and sent everyone to concentration camps. The Franks were taken to Auschwitz, and later, Anne and her sister Margot were moved to the Bergen-Belsen concentration camp in Germany. In the late winter or early spring of 1945, they both died there, most likely of typhus. The only one from the annex to survive the war was Anne's father, Otto Frank. After the end of the war, Otto returned to Amsterdam. One of the women who brought them food while they were in hiding, Miep Gies, gave him a pile of papers and documents she'd rescued from the annex. Among those papers was Anne's diary. Otto was astounded by what he read and sought to bring Anne's writing to a wider public. First published in the Netherlands in 1947, Anne's diary eventually came out in America in 1952 under the title Anne Frank, The Diary of a Young Girl. Anne Frank's diary remains one of the most widely read books across the globe. It's been translated into over 60 languages, and over 30 million copies are in print. The world will never forget the story of Anne Frank and her family, and the millions of others who lost their lives in the Holocaust.
And now it's time for the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. Place your right hand over your heart and follow along as Genesis Umana leads us through the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, and for liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing. Raise your right hand and follow along as Genesis leads us to the District Heights Panda Pledge.
Today at District Heights, I pledge to do my best. I'll be prepared. I'll be respectful. I'll show integrity. I will be determined to excel. Today at District Heights, I will be great.
And now it's time for the Get Fit Minute with Mr. Jeffries. Well, that's all I have for you today. Thank you for tuning in to DHES TV News. It's a good day to have a good day. So have a good day. Bye-bye now.